Hey guys, welcome back. So I am here with another foundation review, and today we're going to be reviewing the Marc Jacobs Remarkable foundation. I also did go ahead and get the primer and the face brush that came out with the foundation, so I'll be touching up on those products. Also, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really hope that it is helpful for you, and don't forget to leave me a comment before you leave. And if you're not a subscriber yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you become part of the Curls and Lipstick family. And I just want to say, oh my god, this week I actually got to meet 3 of my subscribers that live out here in Ottawa, and it's so much fun when I actually get to see you guys in person and get to talk to you guys, give you guys a hug, because I really do appreciate everyone that watches these videos. So if you do see me out in public, don't be shy, because I know some of you are shy to come up to me, especially the younger girls. Go ahead and come up to me, come say hi, give me a hug, all that good stuff. I'm really down to earth. I won't bite, okay? So don't be afraid to come say hi to me, you know. The spots that you'll find me is probably Sephora, Nordstrom beauty section. I'm always there, always. Or, I mean, I love to eat too, so I might be at like a restaurant because, I mean, Montana's, oh my god, those ribs. Marc Jacobs Remarkable foundation. I know a lot of you guys really wanted to see this review, so I put the Becca on hold for next week, and I'm going to be doing this review first. This is the Remarkable Full Cover Foundation Concentrate. I got this at Sephora, and it retails for $69, so it is one of those quite expensive ones, okay? My most expensive foundation is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, but this is definitely second, okay? It's quite pricey. So it's $69 here in Canada. I'm just looking at the website right now, and I got mine in shade 52 Honey Light. If you are an NC42 like myself, this is a perfect match. It matches absolutely beautifully. I did have a hard time finding this shade because at the Sephora that I have here where I go at Rideau, it has a very dim kind of lighting setup and sometimes very yellowish. So every time I would swatch this color, it just came off very light. But I finally narrowed it down to this one, and I'm absolutely happy with the match. It matches my neck really well, blends out beautifully, so definitely check this out if you're an NC42, okay? So I'm just going to read a little bit of the claims on the foundation before I go on to my opinion. This is an ultra lightweight oil-free foundation concentrate that delivers 24 hours of full coverage wear. Like, ooh, that's a long time. Don't ever wear your foundation for 24 hours, girl. That's nasty. I have had this foundation for about 2 weeks now, and I can honestly say that I really do like it. I do. I like this foundation when used correctly, okay? Let me emphasize on that. You definitely need to use this foundation correctly, or it can borderline look like cake face so fast. This is the most full coverage foundation I have ever seen. Like, this is more full coverage than the Estee Lauder Double Wear, and I find that very full coverage. This is super full coverage. A little tiny bit of this goes a very long way. Now, one thing that I have beef with, okay, not that I don't like, I have actual beef with, is the amount of product that you get. I know that this is a full coverage foundation and you're going to use only a tiny amount of it, but if I'm going to be spending $69, I want to get all the product that I can. Normally a foundation is 30 ml. So this foundation is 22 ml. Okay, so they did make it less than the Genius Gel foundation, which is a little bit cheaper, but you get more product. So I really don't like the fact that they took away some product from this one right here, okay? Just because you are paying quite a lot of money for it. The next thing that I will say is that this is more of a matte finish. It is very beautiful on oily skin. I find it's targeted more for oily skin. Like I said, I have more of a normal combo skin like. As long as I use a great hydrating primer, this foundation looks amazing. It doesn't look flat, completely matte on me. The bottle, I really like the sleekness of this packaging. They did change it up from their Genius Gel one. This has more of a round kind of dome finish to it. It's still very high-end and classy with the very frosted finish on the glass, and very clean and sleek. Just Marc Jacobs, and that's it. I love it. And then when you do open up the cap, you do have this other kind of lid to it, which is how you're going to place the product on your face. So you open up that lid and you have what looks like a dropper, but it's not. It's more of like a dotter. Is that a word? I don't even know if that's a word, but you basically dot your face with this little guy right here that picks up the product. I will say that the rim of the lid does get quite messy, and you want to be careful when you're placing this back in, because if you do it too fast, product is going to push up and just smear all over. So you definitely have to be careful when opening and closing the bottle. That's one thing that's kind of annoying, but I can see past it, honestly. I do prefer a pump, but they try to, you know, do something a little bit different. I appreciate it. They're trying to be unique, so it's all good. And it does work really well because you get to use only the product that you need with that dot kind of system that they have going on. If you do use too much of this product, it tends to look very heavy on the skin. It will look cake face. It will feel heavy on the skin. So a tiny little bit of this product goes a very long way. I'm telling you, when I use it just with those 4 dots, it's perfect. My skin, it looks amazing. It doesn't look thick. It doesn't look cakey. I absolutely love the finish of it. Like I said, when I do apply this foundation, I like to use a hydrating primer. And for this video, I am going to be using the Marc Jacobs Coconut Primer. This primer is very hydrating. It has more of a lotiony hydration feel. It feels really great on the skin. It gives you a nice, like, dewy, glowy sensation and look to the skin, and I like to pair it up with this foundation for that. But I don't think that this makes the foundation last longer at all. It's mainly to hydrate the skin, the purpose of this primer for sure. So I go in with, I think in this video I did 4 dots, so forehead, each cheek, the chin, and a tad bit on the bridge of my nose. And for this foundation, I really do like to use the Marc Jacobs Face 3 brush, and I like to spray my brush because this has more of a matte finish. I just like to spray my brush, and I feel like it blends the product just seamlessly without any issues at all. So I sprayed it with my MAC mineralized charged water, and I just go ahead and buff that product in, and it just blends in beautifully with this brush. It really does buff it in perfectly and seamlessly. There are no lines, no streaks, no nothing. It really just looks gorgeous on the skin. And as you guys can see, just with those 4 dots, like literally dots, okay, my skin is flawless. It has covered up everything. Like, you don't see any scars, you don't see any hyperpigmentation, you don't see any discoloration. Everything's evened out, and it still looks like skin. It doesn't look thick or cakey on the skin. This is a very long-lasting foundation. It does control the oils, in my opinion. I don't feel like I get overly shiny in the T-zone area. I don't even feel like I have to really blot, to be honest. It just stays in place and it sets really nicely. You don't necessarily need to set this foundation with a powder unless you have fine lines. I did notice that with this little guy, if I don't set it around my mouth area, it will start to settle into my smile lines quite fast. So as soon as I apply that foundation, I go in with a little powder, mainly over here, and that will set everything, and it won't kind of settle into those areas. So if you do have a lot of fine lines, maybe you do want to set this with a powder, or it will kind of start to settle into those areas. I notice it mainly over here. Everywhere else looks perfectly fine, but where I have my smile lines, because I love to smile, it does tend to kind of start to settle there if I don't put a little bit of powder, okay? And I'm talking very minimal powder, not a lot, because this foundation is absolutely flawless. I don't want to cover it up with too much powder, okay? Now, I will say that my favorite tool to apply this foundation is definitely this brush. When I first bought this brush, I didn't have this foundation, and I tried it with different other foundations, and I really wasn't feeling it. I was going to return it just because I felt like it wasn't doing anything special. I felt like my Sigma and my Morphe kind of brushes with this style were doing amazing jobs, and this wasn't doing anything for me. The bristles are very packed and dense. It's not a super duper soft brush, to be honest. It's a little bit rough compared to other brushes, so I wasn't going to keep this. But when I use it with this foundation, it's amazing. It makes the foundation look just extra flawless on the skin and really blends it and buffs it into the skin instead of on top of the skin. I've used this foundation with other brushes, and I feel like this one just creates like a very flawless look on the skin. So I really like this brush with the foundation. If I didn't have the foundation, I would say you definitely don't need this brush, because this is it's expensive. It's expensive. But when I use it with this one, I can't let go of it, just because it makes the foundation look so amazing, so flawless on the skin that I feel like I need it, okay? So I love that brush. Do you need it? You don't. Well, I feel like I need it just because it gives me the most flawless look with that foundation. But if you don't have that foundation and you're just looking for a foundation brush, you really don't need that one, if that makes any sense, what I said right now. Now on to the primer. Like I touched up on it when I was doing my demo. This primer is more of like a hydrating lotion, basically. That's the way I see it. It's not gonna make your makeup last longer. It's not gonna prolong it at all, really. It is going to give your skin that very healthy, glowy look for sure. I like the ingredients in this. I like the scent. It does have a slight coconut scent to it, and I like the feel of it. I like my primers to have more of that lotiony feel instead of the silicone-y feel, and this has more of that lotiony feel. I really like the packaging and the sleekness of this bottle, to be honest, and it has a really nice pump that dispenses a great amount of product. So I enjoy it. I enjoy this primer. I've worn this primer without foundation, and I just like the way it actually makes my skin look, not necessarily the foundation. So it's just one of those hydrating products, really. You can use it on its own without foundation, and it will still give you that very healthy looking appearance to your skin. Do you need this primer? No, you don't need it. You don't need it. It is expensive. You do not need it. But because I got it, I actually like it, so I am going to continue to use it just because it gives my skin like that healthy, dewy appearance. That is it for this video. I hope it was helpful and informative. I really do like this foundation. I think it's definitely worth the price because you are going to use such a small amount of product, and it just covers beautifully. Actually, I'm going to always have a little poll going on each video saying like which video you want to see next. I'll probably have 2 to 3 options. Please go ahead and click on there and let me know which video you want to see next, so that way I'm putting out the ones that majority of you guys want to see first. Okay, that I would really appreciate if you guys go ahead and click it. Whenever it says what video do you want to see next, click it and then click the one that you want to see. Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought of it. Leave me a comment down below, and I will see you guys on the next one. Ciao.